What's up, guys? Welcome back. Check this out. She is done. Let's go for a drive. Yes. Battery must be dead. Yeah, I'm just kidding, guys. I figured we'd start this episode with a little bit of a laugh. You know, I just threw that exhaust manifold, turbo, this radiator in there, just to kind of look at it. And then this engine intake is actually out of a ex-girlfriend's Scion TC. So, just thought we'd have a little laugh before we start getting really frustrated with what we got to do next. So what we're actually going to be working on is this front motor mount here. I went ahead and I got a nice torque solution front mount here. And this one is for an Evo 8, Evo 9. But, and there's the part number there. But they are actually exactly the same as the 2G DSM for the 420A and the 4G63. I don't know about the 1G, because I don't have any here to compare them to, but yeah, I do know for a fact that the 2G 428 and 4G63 are exactly the same as the Evo. So you can get either or. I went with this Evo one actually because for some reason it's cheaper than the DSM. This one was like, I think it was like $95, whereas the DSM was like $110 for some reason. I don't know why. Exactly the same. Alright, so underneath here we've got these two bolts and the radiator support where the factory crossmember was bolted in, and then it's a straight shot right to this front motor mount, so that's easy. And then right through this space in the transmission you can see there's a bolt way back there right in the middle. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. I don't want to focus, but that bolt right there, that's where the factory crossmember was bolted in. And so it's a straight shot all the way through this transmission. But the part that I see as being difficult is right here, because this is going to come out here, but this is right here, so it's got to make a steep, you know, cut to the right and then go back. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do here. Well, I've been rolling around out of here, taking measurements, looking at things, trying to figure things out. I pulled out the front factory cross members I've got here. This one is from the 420A. These are both 4G63. And looking at them, on this 420A one, from the front all the way right to behind the mount, works pretty much perfect. The mount actually just needs to move forward here about a ½ inch. But the whole location and the mount location all work out perfect. But like I was saying, it needs to make that hard cut to the right here. Well, on these 420A ones, I mean the 4G63 ones, from back here all the way to about here work out perfect. This all fits underneath the transmission. The only thing I have is it hits a little bit here and a little bit on the edge over here, but those could be notched out. The only thing is figuring out how to make this point and this point like do like a hard, geez, almost a 90-degree to each other. I figure maybe I can chop that one up and use some of it to do that. I don't know, I'm still thinking. Alright guys, I've been messing with these things for a while, and I just really don't think there's a way I'm going to be able to splice all three of these together to make one and make it look good. So I made the decision to run to the store. I got some 1 inch by 1 inch square tubing, some 2 inch sheets of metal, and I think we're just gonna make our own. Hopefully it'll turn out good. So this is the plan I'm coming up with here. Here's the front with those 2 bolt holes at the radiator support. So I figure I'll cut a piece there, drill the holes for those bolts, and then I'll have 2 pieces coming off together because that motor mount is actually about 1.5 inches wide. So I'll just put 2 pieces together, make it 2 inches wide, put the holes down the center, and that'll be for the motor mount. And then we got to make that hard right over here and then come underneath the transmission. And then we got to kind of go back, you know, after doing my measurements, we got to kind of make a little bit of a turn to get to this rear bolt. And since there's 1 bolt there, I got to figure out how to go from 2 to 1. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'll have the 2, have this one go right down the middle, and then I'll just cut angles into these 2, and then basically fold the ends into this one, and then weld that all up. And I got the 2 inch strips because essentially what I think I'm going to do is do the 1 inch tubes, 2 of them next to each other, and then I'll put the 2 inch strips on the top and bottom along this whole thing, just to make it more solid. I think that'll really strengthen it like that. Ooh, birds are flying around crazy. So anyways, another thing I'm going to do to strengthen this up is I'll have the 2 1x1 tubes together, and at these joints what I'll do with the 2 inch by 1/8 inch sheet is I'll actually go past that joint and make a separate joint, just stagger the joints, and that should really make it more structurally solid. So that's the plan I'm coming up with. If I can do it and it works, that's another thing. Alright, I got the first piece to our puzzle cut here. Wasn't too bad, actually pretty easy. This is the one that's going to go here. Maybe I should check to see if it actually bolts up. If I put those holes in the right spot. Alright, I'm going to reuse these bolts, but they're obviously too long. I'll have to get shorter bolts later, but just wanted to check this. They fit right in the holes, that's good. Alright, yeah, so that piece will go right like that. Alright, I'm already running into some issues. My little plan I drew up is not quite working out. So in order to get the bottom of this to be straight flush with the bottom of the mount here, I got the mount nice and level, and so as you can see, if I can do this, so to get straight across flush with the bottom of the mount to here, I had to add a piece of 3/16 steel, and then these are also 3/16 steel, but I already planned on using those, so it's an extra 3/16 to get down just for the bottom of this to be at the same level as the bottom of the mount. But then remember, I got another 1 inch piece of square tube going here with another 1/8 inch piece of flat stock on it, so that's going to bring it way down here. It's about like 2 3/4 inches from the radiator support here, and I don't like that. So I think what I'm going to do, pull this 3/16 out, bring that up, and then I'll just have to off the back of this come down at a bit of an angle and then go straight out to the mount there. It's a little more difficult than I was expecting. I thought this would just be straight across, but you know, gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. Alright, I went ahead and made myself a little cardboard template here. I know it kind of looks like a mess, but I'll explain it to you. So here's the base of the motor mount, and then I went the 1/8 inch space for the flat stock we're going to put on top of the tubing, and then we got our 1 inch tubing and just ran that straight across. And I butted this up to essentially this piece that we're sticking on the bottom of the radiator support, So that's gonna go there like that, and then just did a straight line 1 inch down, found this angle, and since I butted this up against there, found that angle. So on the tube here, it's probably gonna be hard to see, but I ended up with that angle there, and then this miter here, I have to cut that, and then once I cut that, I should be able to bend this pipe up, and that'll give us the angle we need. And then I just ran a long measurement, and we'll trim that down once we get it in there, but hopefully that's what we need. Alright, got the piece made. Pretty easy. I got it welded up right here in the middle because I couldn't keep the bend together. It kept wanting to come back apart, so I just went ahead and put a quick weld right across there. But it fits pretty nice. Remember, I'm going to put a piece of flat stock on top and bottom of it, but like that. Let's see, right there, fits pretty dang good. Let's see if I can get you. Look at that. That's gonna be nice. I like that better than what we were looking at before. So now I just gotta make a duplicate of this one. And then there were two. Got them both made up exactly the same. So next we're going to figure out where this mount is going to sit, and it's going to go right here. I got to figure out where the bolt holes are, and those bolt holes are going to land right on this seam. So I got to get a little tricky with figuring out how to cut out these circles right across this seam, but we'll get it. Alright, that wasn't easy, but we got her done. Got the bolts all the way through, bolted on, nice and sturdy, perfectly centered in there. It was not easy, getting that cut out in the middle there. I wound up using this step drill bit just to get the top and bottom drilled out, and then I had to go back with this round rasp file to clear out the middle, but it's done. I just got this plate in here temporarily to keep the mount held up that space, because we're going to put this plate on the top of there. So let's go see how this fits in the car. Alright, there it is, all bolted up, looking pretty dang good. I'm starting to get a little impressed with myself. So let me see if I can show you this. You can see pretty dang perfectly level still, and then our joint here is it lines up perfectly with the bottom of this one, if this stupid camera will focus. That joint there's a little tiny gap, but this has some wiggle in it, so I could just loosen this up. I'll push it over, get it nice and tight, and then we'll weld that up. Alright, here's how we're looking all welded up. I didn't weld right here because I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about the angle here to get this thing to jog to the right. But I got it all welded up nice, looking good, both sides. These letters I put on here are because I'm starting to cut these plates. And these plates are gonna go on here like so. But I'm gonna wait until the very end, after all the tubing is put together, and then I'll start putting these plates on here. And I put this thing on the ground on this corner there, and then I stood on each end here, and it held up just fine. And I'm a fat boy, so I'm pretty confident in that structural stability. So let's keep on going. Man, I've been down here for a while trying to figure out what angle I need to get this to go past the starter bump out right here to go underneath the transmission. Bro, what are you doing? And I'm having a hard time trying to figure this angle out to get that right. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start back there at the bolt that we're going to mount to back there, if it'll focus. Yeah, we're going to start at that bolt and work back this way, going underneath the transmission. And then once we get up here at the end, then I think it'll be easier to figure out that angle here. You know, just have to try to meet these two pieces up. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to start back there, work back this way, and then we'll figure out this little situation here after that. Alright, here's my whole thought process from starting at that back bolt. I probably should have started this video with letting you guys know that I am not a metal fabricator. I've never done any kind of metal fabricating. This is the first thing out of metal I've tried to build. So if it doesn't come out right, my bad. So here's how I'm trying to figure this out. So that back bolt is here. Now the transmission is actually lower than where this bolt is. It drops an inch. So I'm going to have to come out from there, drop an inch, and then go under the transmission. So this is how I'm kind of trying to figure out these angles that I need to make that drop. And then where the bolt is, it's just one single bolt. So, you know, I'm doing the two pipes together. So I'm going to have to do like one in the middle where that bolt is. So what my plan is here, I'm going to go, you know, with one square tube. I'm going to go back, basically make it 4.5 inches, because I want 2 inches to come into the pipe, into the two pipes. And then I'm going to cut out angles on these two pipes to bring those in to meet the one in the middle. So I colored this in Sharpie so you can see it. So how I'm figuring this out is I'm going to go 2 inches into these two pipes, right? Now I need to cut this angle and I'm going to bend it in to meet that pipe, and then I can weld it all up. But I also need to make a relief cut here so that it will have room to fold back in, and hopefully meet up with this and then weld it all together, and then it'll be a nice transition from 2 into 1, and then the bolt hole will be there. At least that's my thought process. If it works, I don't know. We're about to see. Alright, here's what I got. Man, I'm super happy that everything seems to be working out the way I want it to. My relief cuts here were a little bigger than they needed to be. I just kind of took a guesstimate on that, but it's nice and tight. You know, this isn't welded in, it's just sitting in there. Shows you how tight that is. But man, I'm super impressed with myself. You know, I know self-praise stinks, but I've never done anything with building anything out of metal. You know, I'm a carpenter by profession. I don't think I ever mentioned that. I do cabinetry, which is why you see in the videos there's cabinets sitting around everywhere. But you know, basically the same with finding miters and joints and everything. But you know, I've just never done it with metal. So very happy it's working out. Now next, I got to figure out this 1 inch drop, these angles that I need. So wind. So hopefully that works out. Because if it doesn't, then all this would have been for nothing. Because right around in here, I got to make an angle, come down an inch, and then another angle to go back. So that's going to be fun. Alright, I got my angles cut and tack welded together. I did it just like the other piece. You know, I did my angle cuts here and then folded it together. So it's still one continuous piece. So that should keep it nice and solid. And then check this out. We got our perfect 1 inch drop like I wanted. So everything's working out just fine. Alright, status report. I got it bolted in back here. I got my spacers in there holding it down to where, you know, it's going to end up being once I put the flat stock on there. I got it coming down, goes underneath the transmission here. But I noticed it's not level. Like all my stuff is straight, but this where it bolts in is kind of sitting at an angle, so it's making this kind of drop. So what I had to do is right here at the lowest point of the transmission, I put just a little relief cut in there and bent it up, and then that got my bar back to level. And so now we're at this situation. So it's not at the same level as this piece. So my cut here is going to have to be at a hard angle going this way to get around the starter here, but it's also going to have to drop just about a ½ inch. So that's going to be a difficult one to come up with. Alright, I've been messing with this thing for several hours now, trying to figure out these angles. I got this one figured out how I want it, but remember this piece is a ½ inch lower, so I have to do this angle plus another angle to get it to drop, and I just can't figure that angle out. So I decided to go another route. I decided to just put another notch here to angle this up, bring it up that ½ inch. Then I put another notch here to flatten it out, and then now we're at the same level as here. So now I just need to cut these two angles, which I already figured this out. I'm gonna do a 45-degree angle, so these are 22.5-degree cuts. So I just got to put these two pieces here, and then that will be our whole cross member there. I just have to put the plates on the top and bottom, paint it, and then we're done. All right, there she is, one solid piece finally. Now I just got to put the plates on it, paint it, and she'll finally be done. But I'll give you a shot of this mounted under the car. All right, bolted up in the back, come through here, underneath the transmission, come back up, got the mount bolted up, and then bolted up to the radiator support. So everything's clear, got a nice about ½ inch gap to the transmission all the way around. Cool. So I'm gonna hurry up and finish this up. Alright, got it all welded up and grinded and everything, looking good. And I got the 1x tube in the square tube in the middle with the plates top and bottom, capped off all the ends, looking all good. Now it's time for paint. And there she is, all painted up, looking fresh, looking real nice. Although now that it's painted, I'm kind of wondering if I should have put the undercoating on it that I put under the car, kind of make it match. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Should I leave it painted like this or put the undercoating on it? I can still always do that. But alright, let's get it on the car, make sure it still fits. Alright, there she is, all bolted up, still fits, looking good. All the way back, bolted in back there. Very nice. And a view from the top down with the Torque Solutions mount. Woo-wee! Alright guys, so that's finally done. That took way longer than I had expected, so I'm sorry this video is taking so long to come out. I had a lot of people send me messages asking if I was even still working on the car, which is pretty bad. So I am still working on it. Some other stuff came up. Like I've got this G35 here I'm working on. A friend of mine brought that over. She just bought it, had a blown head gasket, so I'm working on that. Other things with it too, you know, I want to make sure that's a nice, reliable running car for her. She's a single mother and does everything on her own, so I try to help her out whenever I can. And then I'm also trying to get my contractor's license and start a finished carpentry business, so I'm working on that. So it's just a lot of stuff going on at one time, but I am still working on the car. Don't worry. So I apologize that this video was actually very long and took very long to come out. So, but if you stuck with it till the end, here's a sneak peek at the next video. Where is that sucker? Alright, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one.